A worm gear, as it is fondly called by an industrial expert. It is an ancient gear system that was developed many years ago. This type of gear set is slightly angled with a curved teeth. It is used to change the direction of the input rotation by 90 degrees. And the plane of motion is changed by the position of the worm on the worm gear. So basically, it can be said that these gear sets usually consist of a worm gear that is made of steel and a wheel that is made of brass. That said, this gear set is used to transmit motion and power between two axes that are interlaced in space.
So on the other hand, a worm gear is a gear that includes a shaft with a spiral thread. This thread is what the worm gear will engage with before driving the toothed wheel. So in the gear sets, the worm gear is considered to be the pinion gear, which is because of its few teeth in size. While the wheel gear by design can be said to be similar to a helical gear. Overall, the teeth of the worm gear come in two forms, which are left-hand teeth design and right-hand teeth design. While the wheel gear comes in three forms, which are straight-face worm gear, hub straight-face worm gear, and concave face worm gear. In terms of performance, the best among the three gear designs is the concave face worm gear. Based on the teeth design, the contact area is increased, which is as a result of the teeth design. And this ensures a better performance when used with a heavier and bigger load. So for conformity's sake, the teeth design of both the wheel gear and worm gear must conform with each other before the gears can move freely without any difficulty.
And it is on that note that worm gear can be categorized into three, which are non-throated, single-throated, and double-throated. The non-throated worm gear is an out-and-out worm that does not comprises of a grooved mechanism.
So it can be said that non-throated worm gears are helical gears with a straight worm that lack a throat or groove. This is usually drilled around the worm or worm wheel. Both gears are non-throated and tooth contact is made at a single location on the moving drive. This gear has a single rotating point, which means it is subject to a lot of wear and tear. And in terms of design, non-throated worm gears are easy to construct and are designed to handle minor weights.
A single-throated worm gear usually includes a curved helical tooth being covered around the worm.
That gear design has an incurvate helical teeth design which is constructed around the worm. With this design, it can be said that the worm gear can handle more power without being worn out. Although just like the single-throated worm gear, only one set of worm threads will make contact with the worm wheel in this type of worm gear. So the worm gear must be made to be a little bit more tougher and stronger than the wheel gear. Which is due to the fact that there is only one point of contact during the rotation. And this leads to a lot of tremendous friction during gear rotation.
Of course. The more the friction, the more the heat that will be generated within. Hence the reason why the worm gear is meant to be tough and strong. The double-throated worm gear, on the other hand, is designed to have a curved tooth on both the two gears and the worm screw.
The double-throated gear is designed to improve the contact area between the wheel and the worm gear. This gear design ensures that the gear set can withstand heavy loads. It also ensures the tightest possible connection between the worm and the gear.
The mounting of worm gears is very critical during its gear set design. That said, multiple points of contact are usually necessary between the drive and gear. This point ensures that high workloads do not overwork the same lead angle, which could lead to gear failure.
In order to prevent gear failure, enveloped worm gear sets are normally assembled in the same housing. This will ensure proper contact area, which is due to the set's small footprint.
In terms of applications, worm gears can be seen in several mechanisms and devices. They are usually found in large equipment, and in several domestic equipments. With these in mind, power, velocity, and torque are considered to be a requirement that is needed in a piece of mechanical equipment.
Worm gear sets are especially suitable for high torque and gear reduction applications. This is due to its gear design.
Another area where gear sets type are put into consideration is in terms of noise limitation in commercial usage.
In terms of commercial applications, smooth, quiet operating gear sets are more valuable, and as such, worm gears offer the quietest operation when compared with other gear sets.
In terms of environmental factors, gears exposed to weather or chemicals should be specially hardened or protected. This is done in order to extend the lifespan of the gear set when in operation.
In terms of temperature exposure, some gears may be warped or become brittle in the face of extreme temperatures. Hence the need for special gear that can withstand high temperatures during its usage.
Vibration and shock resistance are areas that might be beyond the control of the manufacturer, and as a result of heavy machine loads or backlash. Hence the reason for the deliberate surplus space in the circular pitch which may jostle gearing. In some cases which it can be due to operation disruption resistance. So it may become necessary for some gear sets to function despite missing a tooth or misalignment. So, if the worm gear is mounted correctly, then most worm drives will operate even when one tooth is missing. And that is it on gear set generally. I hope you have learned something new today. See you at the next one.